Hey everyone, John here again. Today I want to talk to you guys about attitudes in your relationships. And I'm not just talking your normal relationships, with your significant other. Though it applies here, we're also going to add onto it your business relationships, your friendships, your acquaintances, and any other kind of human interaction that you may have with someone. So, the first thing we really got to talk about is what's called the mirror concept. And at the base level, when we talk a mirror concept, we're talking about how your attitudes or somebody else's attitude will reflect on other people into a situation. Have you ever gone into a conversation or a situation where someone is very tense or very depressed or very sad, and their emotion can shape the rest of the group, and everyone else starts getting mad or sad or depressed? It is the exact same concept. It goes both ways, though. If you go in there happy, respectful, bubbly, you have the chance of bringing up the demeanor and the attitude of the group. So don't let that get lost. Yes, I understand that negativity is usually quicker to destroy, right? We all know that. It's easier to make a mess than it is to build something up. Same thing. Negative attitudes fester, they spread like a wildfire, but you have to be that strong person in the group to bring it up. And don't be afraid to walk away from a relationship or a friendship or someone who's just negative. There are going to be people out there who are just negative. They're very toxic. It could be from past experiences. It could be just their demeanor. You don't always know what they're going through. And I always recommend you have compassion and empathy, but it doesn't mean you have to take any kind of abuse or toxic behavior. Just stay the course, be respectful, be polite, and then dismiss yourself. You have every right to walk away. You don't have to take it. But going back to kind of what we were talking about, we'll start with your intimate relationships, your partner. You know, there's a lot of trust and respect that goes into that relationship. That's why you've made it that far. And you have to respect that trust. You have to respect that emotional boundary you guys have put into place. This takes a lot of active listening. This takes a lot of understanding, and most importantly, it takes a lot of empathy. You have to be empathetic to your partner. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the concept of deposits and withdrawals in your emotional buckets, your emotional bank accounts, but be mindful of that. If you're always taking, and you're not depositing, you're not being a good partner in that relationship, and vice versa. But be open to talk about that with your partner and say, hey, here's how I feel. And don't get mad. If you feel yourself getting mad, you have to walk away from the situation and come back when you're calm and collected again. Now, when we start talking your friendships, right? Very similar concept. You still have basically emotional bank accounts, but you need to understand with a friendship, it's going to be different. Maybe you're not as intimate with this person. Maybe you just met them. You guys just became friends. You bounced up from acquaintance to friends. But you have to understand each other's boundaries, and you have to respect those boundaries. And this really comes into play how you approach each other when you're talking. Is it very open? Is it fun? Is it very lightning? Or is somebody always very negative? Again, I always recommend you be that person who's bringing positivity, who's bringing respect to the conversations, to what's going on. Your friend may be having some difficult times. Be empathetic, but be there, and support in every way you can. There's going to be times where you might not be able to, and that's okay, but be there and be listening. That active listening is essential. It's huge in any relationship at any level. But again, be empathetic to each other and always be the one who's bringing that positivity. Don't be the one who's bringing it down. If you're having a hard day, just let them know, hey, I'm in a tough spot. Do you think you could listen? Do you think you could be a sounding board? And that respect to them will go a long way. And I'm pretty sure a good friend's going to tell you, absolutely, I will be happy to listen and help where I can. So don't be afraid. Now, in a business relationship, whether this is coworkers, whether you're friends at work, professionalism is key here. You really have to build that professional and mutual respect for each other, both as individuals, but also both of where you're at in your business, where you relate to each other. Are you peers? Is one of you a superior or subordinate? Are you in different departments where you don't really, you know, have a whole lot of contact with each other? Understand that, but still approach that with a positive attitude, being respectful, being out there and just, hey, how can I help? How can I assist? And again, coming back to empathy, it all comes back to being empathetic. So when you think about this, regardless of what kind of relationship we're talking here, there's a key factor in this. What you're putting out is a good chance of what you're going to receive back. So I like to use the analogy of the red ball, the green ball. If you're throwing a red ball in your relationships, don't expect a green ball back. And it's a common problem you start seeing in relationships is people, well, my partner isn't doing this or this. And okay, so what are you doing about it? Well, they won't do this, so I'm doing this. Okay, well, if you're fighting fire with fire and you're a little upset about something, but you're being childish about it, you're not giving them that respect, that empathy, that same attitude, the one you want, don't don't expect it. Don't expect to have compassion and love and understanding coming your way if you're being sarcastic and snarky and attitudey, right? If you're not really respecting your partner or your friend or whoever, don't expect that back. Don't throw that red ball thinking you're going to get a green ball back. Now, it kind of, as I mentioned earlier, there will be times when you are putting out and you're throwing that green ball, but you are getting red back. It's going to happen. Some people have bad days. Some people just have something they're going through, right? You have to understand where your friendship, your boundaries are with that person, where that relationship is, and understand maybe they're having a bad day. If it's a constant thing, if this is your friend and it's always this and they're always a bad attitude and it's always negative, no matter how good and positive and empathetic you're being, then you might have to look inward and decide that this relationship needs to stop, needs to cease. That's on you. But don't invest too much if it's not coming back, right? And just know that difference, know that boundary that hey, someone's having a bad day or had a very bad experience and they need your help versus this is how you've been for years and this is how you always are. You got to decide if that's something you're going to put up with. But again, I always recommend that you be the one who's professional, who's empathetic, who's polite, who's showing that higher trait. Okay. And in more times than not, approaching with that attitude, even in the even in some bad relationships, you're still going to have a lot of positive come back. It's not perfect and it's not all the time, but more times than not in a respectful relationship, regardless of what level it is, you could bring up the value of the relationship by showing those traits, by talking with that demeanor, by showing that empathy. And it will come back to you. Just like negativity can bring you down quick and you can start getting mad and frustrated and whatever the case, it works the other way. You could bring people up too with a positive attitude, with a positive approach and a peaceful mindset. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged, right? So go after it. Be compassionate, be empathetic, help your fellow persons out. All right? There's a lot of people going through the struggle. You probably went through a struggle or are going through a struggle. Help them. You know what it's like. Help them out. Guide them through it. And I guarantee they'll probably turn around and help you out in your time when you need it. Or maybe you're the one who needs it now. Reach out and ask and do it empathetically. Do it, nicely. Don't, oh, my world is crumbling and this fault and that person's fault and this and that. No. Hey, friend, I really need your help. Can you be a sounding board? Can you listen to what I got to say? And open up that dialogue, open up that relationship, and you'll be amazed what happens. And the big thing, no matter what side of the fence you're on, when you approach it this way, you're gonna have a ripple effect, right? Those little things will lead to bigger, more open dialogue, more passionate, more trustful, more intimate dialogue and understanding of that person. Even if they're your best friend, it grows and it develops. And you'd be amazed at what kind of relationships, business, personal, intimate, that you could build on that attitude with the right people. So, guys, I just can't help but letting you guys know it's okay. But look how you're approaching things, and it's going to open windows of opportunities for you, doors of opportunities. You start talking to people in a certain way, in a certain demeanor, it goes out there, it spreads. Just like the negativity. When you're very negative all the time, that word's going to spread, and people are going to avoid you or stay away from you, or you just might not get those same opportunities out there. But hey, guys, if you ever need someone to talk to, a sounding board, you just want to shoot it up, I'm always here for you. You're not alone. You always have a battle buddy in this corner. But you guys, be safe out there, be respectful, and I'm always here if you need me. Take it easy.